In this video, you're not going to hear motivational speeches or let alone fake screenshots. This is an actual student of mine who has joined about 2 weeks ago and has made his entire mentorship fee back. He'll break down to you how long it took him to actually get to those profits, what he has learned along the journey, and especially the mistakes that he has made within his entire 7 years of trading, so you're not going to make the same as him. Usually, I am breaking down the charts for you step by step so you understand it. But in this video, since my student has acquired the knowledge that I give in my mentorship so fast and so good, he's actually going to break down 3 different trades that he has actually taken, which were fully documented in the entire mentorship. And to be honest, he's actually so good that he might not even need me anymore. Stick to the end as I'm going to show you the full profits that he has made so far. I promise to you, it is actually big. Yeah, for the people that, don't know you, who have not been active in the Discord and basically not following all of the profits that you have been making along the way and also the analysis, just start with introducing yourself.
I'm GhostWhale, known in the server as GhostWhale. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm 28 years old and been trading for maybe 7 years or so. Not that active trading like now, but trading have been ups and downs.
So you said you've been trading for 7 years. So within those 7 years, have you perhaps bought some kind of other course or mentorship that helped you along the way? And if yes, did it really help? What were your experiences so far, whether it's bad or good? You can tell them to me.
Yeah, I did buy some other courses, of course, and I think that's a normal thing for every trader young trader, but the experience was all a bit bad because they're using always a big risk to reward. At the start, I also wondered why the risk to reward was so big. I did trade 1-to-1 at some point and I had some success with it, but at that point the psychology also did fail me, and then I'm back to the start again.
Yeah, totally, man. That's been the journey for quite a lot of folks. They be trying a 10-hour risk reward strategy just to end up just failing and losing 10 times in a row. And I mean, we have talked about this on the channel a lot of the times now. It's not even because it's a bad strategy. The strategy might even work and has edge in the markets, but since the win rate is just so low, how are you going to stick to a system which is going to lose 10 times in a row? I could never, right? And I would hardly believe that the best trader in the world could do that and still, without any hesitation, still take the same kind of setup on the 11th trade as he would on the very first trade. It's been basically this same for a lot of different folks here. So within those basically other courses or mentorships, what was basically lacking, or what made the experience so, not good or not good enough for you to actually break through of it? Was it only the risk to reward that they were risking a high risk reward, or was there also something else that in this mentorship we are doing differently than in the others you have been so far?
Yeah, the biggest part is been inside of this mentorship, you're focusing a lot on protecting your own psyche, and that's because they try to sell you a strategy with big risk to reward, but they don't sell you, or they don't teach you mindsets. You have to stick through the strategy, and the mindset will just you will lose your mindset because you're losing a lot. Because you're a beginner trader.
Isn't it sort of interesting how when you're trading a negative risk to reward, the rest of the entire psyche just comes along the way? So of course you still have to stay disciplined, you still have to manage risk and all of that, but when just having a higher win rate, you automatically just sort of have it easier on your psychology, because in the back of your mind you'll be having, well, I'm not going to lose 5 times in a row, and this already gives me the confidence to simply make better analysis, perform better in the markets, and just overall not being stressed out so much.
It gives like a relaxed mindset. You know the strategy, you know what you're risking, and most of the time you're winning. And of course, you can have one loser or maybe 2. At the long run, you recover that quickly. Yeah, and it's just keeping your calm. And I know with other trades, like with higher risk to reward, I was always stressing because sometimes they almost hit TP and then it become a loss. So you're $50 plus, and then you have your stop loss hit. So you're losing a lot more, and that's also very bad for my psyche.
Definitely. And I mean, that was pretty much the worst part for me when I was trading a high risk to reward. And even when I developed a negative risk to reward strategy that, everybody has been trading so far, I still always understood that a high risk to reward can also work, right? We're not here to basically say that we are the good ones and they're the bad ones and that we're something better, but matter of fact, it's just that the problem of having this low of a win rate, and we can't emphasize on it enough to actually bring people and make them understand this. I don't force anybody to buy my mentorship or anything like that, but understanding the math behind all of this is basically the key to actually sticking to a strategy which fits you. If you are able to stick to 10 times in a row losing, then that is also fine. It can work, but is it really practical for a lot of the folks? Probably not.
Because you're coming into the game. Most of the traders come into the game, I believe, to make money. And if you're having that mindset and you're losing 10 times, then you're gonna hate the markets.
Yeah, right. So you are coming into the market doing exactly what other millions of traders have done before you, and they have failed at it. So why are you basically going the same path of all of those million traders who have failed before you? For what? Right? So wouldn't that mean that we will have to do something that is out of the ordinary or that not everybody else is trading? I mean, if you go on TikTok and you basically search of high risk reward strategy, you will see 1 for 100 RR trades. It's ridiculous. I don't know what kind of expectations they have. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous that people try to justify that.
I know all the videos at the start of my journey. I also watched them, and that's very bad for the mindset in the long run. Short run, you can have some success with it, but you're fail.
Yeah, it gives you the wrong perception of actually coming into this game, and it is just going to break everything. It's sort of like the base, the foundation of your entire journey is flawed. Before you become a profitable trader, you would have to fix that fundamental first, without a doubt. If you actually want to proceed becoming a full-time day trader and you have been brainwashed by YouTube, by TikTok, by Insta, whatever it's going to be at the end of the day, you have to basically fix that foundation first before you can become a profitable trader, because otherwise you'll just be making the same mistakes everybody else has been making, right? We have just talked about this, and it's frustrating to see that a lot of traders are probably never going to realize this, but that's what we are here for, right?
yeah And I have some good success with it.
Without a question, you have been basically killing the entire meme coin industry at this point, I mean, it's a little bit exaggerated, but you get my point. I've seen a lot of the different profits, and keep in mind, guys, we're also breaking down some of GhostWhales trades, just so you get the idea of what he was actually taking, and also the exact trades that basically make him break the 250 mark, right? Because you have been in the mentorship for how long now?
Let me see, 2.5 weeks or so. Yeah, 20 days or something.
Yeah, 20 days and already made the feedback. What can I say further? The stuff just works. Now, we'll go over a couple of different trades that you have taken, some of them were on your own, some of them were a little bit with guidance and asking and preparation, but just walk me through, just like you would approach the markets on a day-to-day basis. Let's just say I'm not even there, right? Because I've seen you making these analysis so well, you're learning so good that, you barely even need me, bro. You're so good at this.
Thank you. It was already told, but I like to short like meme coins on crypto because I know most of them will eventually go to zero. So that's a mindset, and also good for like to know eventually they go to zero. I don't know, it's a little bit like direction. But here in front of me, I have like Pippin, I don't know the coin. I just have a list of all those meme coins.
All right.
And I did see this like on the daily, and the first thing I see is like relative equal lows right here, or maybe even there, and then I just zoom in because it's also a big candle. Of course, we're forming like a gap inside of here. That's something I keep in mind. This is basically what I'm seeing on the 4 hour. I see, of course, we have a gap right here. We didn't trade into it yet, but that's maybe something to keep in mind. In a bigger picture, I'm already in my head like this is going lower, because pulling price down already have like movement to the downside, big movement to the downside. And I also saw that we took out like big liquidity right here. Like we took out this liquidity, so everybody is already liquidated here.
Definitely.
And now we're going for the downside. I went to the 1 hour. I did see like we traded into this FEG, but at that moment I was like, okay, just take the trade, because I know this will go to this low. It can easily go higher, but took the trade right here. I put it in the relative equal lows area, but above the FEG. So I don't know the stop exactly, but it's around here. And I took the trade. I first went for this, but that's too little. Then my stop was too big. So I was a little bit greedy on it. And I went to like here or something, 0.38. And I believe it went to
straight out into the take profit. Great, man. Yeah, this was a masterclass example, man, right there. You know, I wouldn't even say that you were greedy on that trade. I think that was actually a good decision, because after all, there was actual reason and momentum backed off by your trade. So I think that was pretty well. And also, you know, the way that you said that, you know, a 0.1 risk to reward will be too little, and you are just spot on that, you know. Even though we are trading a negative risk to reward, we are also not, you know, going for the extreme, you know. We're not going for 0.00001 risk to reward, where you're basically just trading pennies at that point. So definitely, you know, although we are negative risk to reward traders, we don't, you know, take it into extreme level where we are just, you know, trading with pennies. So definitely right decision on that one.
Right, here's another trade that I took. This is on SPX, also a meme coin. On the daily chart, yeah, and basically I'm just seeing the same thing like the trade before. Equal lows on the daily chart, movement to the downside. Those are like some key things I already spot. Like I'm going through this full list and just looking for this kind of movement. Went on the 4 hour and I saw, of course, this gap. Possibly we can go back up into it. We also have some movement down. We are trading into this gap. We already filled it. For me, this was like the key signal. I wanted to see momentum increase, in direction of the relative equal lows. And at this moment, I just took it. I don't know if exactly. I believe I took it right here. You can already see it go down. I took it to right here because this was the gap. And we already traded into let me just point it out.
Yes.
We had the movement down. We pointed out. I put my stop above this because we already traded into that gap. And then I was like, okay, again, it was a little bit too little. Risk to reward 1.3. But because of the big weight it has, I was like, okay, a lot of people are putting their liquidity or stops, I don't know, right here. And we also have another like low right here. I did put it right there. So that's a 0.23. I also just put a little bit further, like 2.5, I can remember. Yeah, 2.5. And then just waited, and that's a TP hit.
Something that I've been noticing when you have been doing it, basically when you are doing the entire analysis, just away from your speaking, you're also just weighting the confluences, right? This is something that I've also touched on in the lecture videos in the mentorship, right? That not all confirmation holds the same weight or the same sort of reasoning behind it, right? So let's just say for the upside you have relative equal highs, and let's just say for the downside you have an FEG. You know, whether or not the relative equal highs or the FEG to the downside is going to hold more weight is going to depend on the context, right? And so I can clearly see that you're not just saying, okay, relative equal lows, you know, let's just short, but you're actually looking at for, okay, do they actually hold weight? And does price have a reason to go there to begin with, right? And you were spot on. There was just so much liquidity, because if you're going to take that second or that first low, and you can see on the screen there, yeah, this one, then these are just basically extended relative equal lows. So you can even take the entire relative equal lows up until, you know, the very first low that has been created. And, you know, that is like massive liquidity at that point. It's just a spot on trade, textbook example, momentum to the downside, and That was a great one, man.
Yeah, I like to see that momentum increase, like small candle, bigger candle, biggest candle, and then just go with the flow.
You know, a lot of people, they're trying to sniper entry or anything like that, when in reality it's really just looking out for, you know, let's not try to be perfect, but let's actually just try to catch a trade and make money, right? It's not about being perfect.
Exactly. I got one more. So I also took a trade on silver. I believe this was the candle that I was seeing and was like, oh, that's interesting because it's a nice momentum increase, like small, medium, bigger candle. And of course we have, we don't have like equal lows right here. Maybe on a lower time frame we have like equal lows. There are lots of liquidity right here. That's the first thing I saw. And we're having like big movement to the upside. At this moment, it was on the 4-hour right here. And I was a little bit late to the trade, but not that late because we still didn't took out the relative equal highs right here. Yeah, of course we did just now, but there's still more.
Yeah,
So-
they're still active, definitely.
Yeah, they're still active, and with in mind, highs are not taken out yet here. Okay, so I did take the long right here. Point of my stop was a bit wider. Let me see. Yeah, it was around there. We already traded into some of this gap. I don't know if maybe it was on a lower time frame also, or maybe I put it lower. I think I put it lower. Yeah, I put it here just to protect. I believe that's the daily low. Yeah, the daily low. And then, yeah, this one was a little bit bigger because I liked the movement to the upside with the bigger candle. I took this one around here. So it's a 0.5 risk to reward. It went to the win.
Nice,
right here.
nice. Let's take profit,
Yeah.
man.
Also, little drawdown, and it was just the movement. At first, at this point, I was like, I could have took it like here. Then I was like, okay, no, this high holds a lot of weight, and we still have like that momentum to the upside.
And a lot of times also in their trades, you know, if you look closely, you see that price has not just, you know, fallen down or anything. It has actually fallen back into what? An FG combined with an BPR. Can you see that? Yeah, right into this FEG. So like, you know, price is also not just randomly, okay, maybe not into that BPR, but, you know, into that entire FEG. You know, price is also, you know, showing you things while you're taking a trade. You know, a lot of different people would say, well, you're barely getting any kind of drawdown in these kinds of trades. But why are you not basically putting your entire stop loss way higher and then just trying to trade it? And this is, like that. And this is essentially the first trap that everybody who's trading a negative risk reward is going to get into. They be thinking, well, I'm catching these trades. Why should I even, you know, bother having this wide of a stop loss? And then that might work for 1 trade, 2 trades, 3 trades. And then they just get stopped out because this is not sustainable over the long run. You need to have that buffer in order for your trade to play out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this one was the biggest I took. I believe I got like $100 on this one, and it's a very small account I trade with. Very small.
You're trying to manage your risk well by, you know, not risking a lot, at least something on the side for now. You know, that will of course grow over time as you're going to increase and scale. But, you know, that's just great. That just also shows that you don't need great capital. You don't need like, you know, 20K in your bank account in order to make trading work. You know, guys have been, you know, really just trading 100 into 1,000, and then 1,000 is eventually going to turn into 10K. You know, it just takes time, but with proper risk management, with the right strategy, it can definitely work. And that just goes to show once again that, you know, a negative risk reward is not going to give you a couple of pennies or anything like that, right? It is actually sustainable, and it is also giving you a lot of profits because simply you're just going to win a lot of the times. And how long did it take for you to make the entire mentorship fee back?
At first the mentorship was like a good step because I firstly watched a lot of videos of you. And then it vibed with me. At some point I just knew this is the way I want to trade, and this is the best thing for my psychology. Then I went into the course and I watched some lecture videos, and I also had a lot on your explaining in it, like your trades or the, how do you say, market outlook. I liked it because you're showing your process of thinking. Just copied that way of thinking, and Yeah, and it felt very good and very like organic to me. So
Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of different folks also, they have this kind of ego problem, I think. They have this, well, but my friend is trading a 5 RR, and yet here I am coming with a 0.7 RR, let's just say, for example. I get the discouragement in a sense, I get the comparison, but in reality, the guy that has been trading a, let's just say, 0.4 risk-to-reward is making more money, in the long term, of course, than the guy trying to catch 10 RR trades. How many tries is it going to take him to catch that 10 RR trade, right? And I think it's more of an ego thing, right? Trust this entire process enough to actually just start trading it, right? It's bad for them, but it is what it is. They just have to make that jump, and they didn't yet, So how long did it take for you to basically make the entire mentorship fee back? So, was it after, 1 week of trading, or how much was it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and the entire mentorship fee was back? That's great shit, man.
2 weeks. Maybe a little bit shorter, but I don't know exactly the last trade that bring me above the 250. Worth it.
For somebody to basically even make the entire mentorship back, right, within 1 month, that is still a good return on investment, right? People don't understand this, that you don't have to make it back, the first day that you're going to join, and boom, I made $300. Like, why? The stuff takes time, and I mean, after all, you're getting a lifetime subscription, right? No future costs or anything like that. This everything that is presented in also the future lectures, material, market outlooks, that is all, included forever in that sense. And, even if it will be taken 3 months or so, so what? At least as long as it has a return on investment, and especially the longevity of it, right? This is more about just that, okay, let's make the entire fee back. You want to basically go further than that, and you'll be left with a strategy, with a proven strategy, actually. That is really what it is about.
And for me, it's just building up confidence with the meme coin plays, and just knowing that it works and having some success with it. But yeah, next steps are for me like beginning a challenge and just applying the same knowledge to other pairs.
I already told, in the huge videos and all of that, a lot of times that, you can trade a strategy at basically any market because it's pretty fractal, right? Of course, the analysis have to differentiate a little bit because every market has its sort of, specialties in that sense, its nuances. But as a whole, these entire concepts, they are just fractal. And to be honest with you, you have even surprised me that it works that well in crypto, because crypto was sort of the last thing that I will be trading personally, right? I'm more of a Forex guy. I specialize in that. But, without a question, it is even working in crypto. So it might as well work in, way more markets than I haven't even thought of yet. What are your plans to basically in the upcoming, months, weeks, or even for this entire year? What are your goals with this entire strategy? Not even the mentorship, just like your personal goals in terms of trading, capital scaling, and also just prop firms.
At first, get some success with the meme coins, but that's already proven. So I just keep growing the account. I got this steady equity curve at the moment. It's only going up, sometimes a little pullback, but that pullback is a drawdown. It's not like a loss. It's a drawdown, and then it goes higher up. So I like to keep that going just to train myself. And then, in 1 or 2 months, buy a challenge, do the challenge, taking it very slow, trading only the A+ setups. And then if I get funded, to just scale the account. I hope at the end of the year, my goal will be like 50 or 100K funded account. That would be a very nice goal.
Definitely, man. I mean, I can already tell you, we can even shoot for way higher than that, like the limit is the sky, if you know that saying, right? Because once you get that 100K account rolling, that's how it has been for me when I first got my first 100K. Once that has been rolling, it's basically over, because if you're just going to get, because we're risking 3%. In case everybody that is watching knew, we're risking way more than the usual trader a lot of the times, simply because we're not going to lose that many times. Let's just say you're risking 3% and you're making a 1 RR, by the end of the month, even just, then, that's already 3K in your pocket, negative the 20% profit split, we land at 2,400. With 2,400, you can buy like what, 4 or 5 more 100K accounts You get what I'm saying? So, you know, after that 100K account, you can basically just buy challenges over and over again. So definitely, you know, we'll be shooting up for that. We will keep an eye on that and, you know, do another interview in the future. And so lastly, also, do you have recommendation, any sort of tip that you could give some kind of other trader that has been watching my videos and has really not just decided whether or not he's going to trade a negative risk reward or not? Because I've said previously, some guys have this kind of ego thing where they be like, man, I could never trade a negative risk reward, or also something to help you going into this kind of strategy.
It's a very simple tip, but if you're already live trading or maybe demo trading, just set a goal of doing 10 or 20 trades with a negative risk to reward. I recommend trading with real funds because that's more real. And not only look at the profit, but just look at how you're feeling, because that's the most important. So just do 10 or 20 trades and then like journal or write down how you're feeling through doing those trades. I think that's the best tip I can give. And
Definitely.
then come back to us.
GhostWhale is just keeping it simple, right? He's not making it too complicated, and that's what I've been saying in the videos, in the lectures, in the mentorship, everywhere, you know, day in, day out. I'm even hearing these kinds of phrases in my sleep at that point. It's basically a trader who's keeping it simple, and the most simplest trader is the one that is actually going to stay on top. Then I appreciate you, you know, basically mastering this entire strategy. You know, there's a lot more to come, more lectures, more market outlooks as promised, of course. And, you know, I see a bright future for the both of us, you know, in this entire upcoming mentorship. And I'm very happy to have you here. I'm happy to basically be able to call you my students. It's a privilege for me to actually be able and say, well, you know, I helped this human being in that sense. And yeah, man, it's really also a great feeling, not just for you, but also for me, man. That comes from the bottom of my heart. Then catch you in the next interview.
Sure. I think maybe around the end of the year, or maybe a little bit sooner if I get a 100K account earlier.
Definitely, that will be like a great updated.
GhostWhale did it and he got the 100K account.
So yeah, guys, this was the entire interview of GhostWhale. On the screen right now, you'll see all of the profits that he has made so far. Now, by fact, he has actually made more by the time I'm recording this video. He's just unstoppable in that sense. Guys, make sure to like the video and comment down below what helped you the most out of his entire journey. And even more importantly, we are going to do a follow-up in about half a year, and to make sure you're not going to miss it, subscribe to the channel. Now, thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one.